As you all know, digestion, respiration, excretion, these are all various life-maintaining processes. Today, we are going to talk about respiration as one of the most important life-maintaining processes. We have divided this topic into two parts. The first part will deal with the difference in between breathing and respiration, the various types of respiration, and the similar features of the respiratory surfaces. The second part is going to deal with the different organs which are found for respiration in different animals, and we will discuss categorically the mechanism of respiration in human beings. So children, take some freshly prepared lime water and then blow air into this lime water. What is your observation, children? Obviously, that the lime water turns milky. Now tell me, what does this tell you about the amount of carbon dioxide that we breathe out? That the air which we breathe out is very rich in the amount of carbon dioxide. But isn't respiration responsible for releasing carbon dioxide? Respiration or breathing? Confused, huh? So I think let us first clearly try and understand the difference in between breathing and respiration. Breathing is a physical process which involves only exchange of gases. That is, taking in air and giving out carbon dioxide. In higher organisms, it involves respiratory organs like lungs in humans, gills in fishes, book lungs in scorpion, gills in prawn, and stomata in plants. Whereas respiration is a biochemical process which takes place at the level of cells. It involves breaking down of a complex organic substrate like glucose into simpler inorganic forms like carbon dioxide or ethanol, etc. It clearly states that respiration is an enzyme-dependent process as it is a biochemical reaction, whereas breathing is not. Coming to the next point of difference, respiration as a process produces large amount of energy, which is stored in packets called ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. Whereas breathing as a physical phenomena requires energy. Any kind of movement in the body does require energy, right? So now, let us quickly recapitulate the differences in between respiration and breathing. Breathing is a physical process whereas respiration is a biochemical process. Breathing consumes energy. Whereas respiration produces energy in the form of ATP. Breathing is simply taking in of fresh air and breathing out foul air. Respiration is the oxidative breakdown of the respiratory substrate, like glucose. Mode of breathing is different in different animals. Mode of respiration is the same in all animals. Breathing as a phenomena does not require enzymes, whereas respiration is an enzyme-mediated process. The next time someone asks you, what is taking in air and giving out air called as? Don't forget to say, breathing. Having learned that the respiration is basically same in all the organisms, I think I can conclude that all organisms need air, that is oxygen, for respiration, right? Hey, wait a minute. When life evolved on this earth, it was absolutely an anaerobic environment, and we had living organisms even at that time. So does that mean that they did not aspire? No, that cannot happen. So did they have a different mode of respiration? Actually, there are two different modes of respiration, aerobic and anaerobic. So let us study the difference in between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Some organisms use oxygen to break down glucose completely into carbon dioxide and water. This process is called aerobic respiration. Some use other pathways that do not involve oxygen, which is called as anaerobic respiration. Now, whether it is aerobic or anaerobic, the first step is breakdown of glucose, a 6-carbon molecule, into a 3-carbon molecule called pyruvate. This phenomena is called glycolysis and is common to both aerobic and anaerobic respiration. This process takes place in the cytoplasm of a cell. The pyruvate molecule has 3 fates. In the presence of oxygen, it undergoes complete oxidation to form carbon dioxide, water, and energy in the mitochondria. Sometimes in our muscles, in the absence of oxygen, it undergoes incomplete oxidation and produces lactic acid and carbon dioxide and lesser amount of energy. It is the main reason why we get cramps in our muscles when we do heavy exercise. In lower organisms like yeast, in the absence of oxygen, it undergoes anaerobic respiration to form ethanol, which is called as fermentation. Did you children notice one thing very carefully while learning the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration? That aerobic respiration releases more amount of energy. Have you ever thought so? Why? Well, let me tell you the reason. During anaerobic respiration, some amount of energy remains trapped in the bonds of organic compounds like lactic acid or ethanol, and hence incomplete breakdown of glucose into such compounds releases less amount of energy. Whereas during aerobic respiration, glucose is completely broken down into the inorganic compounds like carbon dioxide and water, and hence it releases more amount of energy. Aerobic respiration releases more amount of energy, that is around 38 ATPs. Whereas anaerobic respiration releases less amount of energy, that is hardly 2 ATPs. Aerobic respiration takes place in the cytoplasm and mitochondria. Anaerobic respiration takes place in the cytoplasm alone. Aerobic respiration requires oxygen. Anaerobic respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen. The end products of aerobic respiration are carbon dioxide and water. The end products of anaerobic respiration are carbon dioxide, ethanol, or lactic acid. The energy which is released during respiration is stored in the form of an energy-rich compound called ATP, which is stored for further use in mitochondria. Now, having learnt the different types of respiration and that breathing involves different organs in different animals, let us see what are the common features in these various diverse organs of respiration. You know, it's like whether it is a bat or a butterfly or a bird. If they need to fly, ultimately they need wings. So whether it is a gill in a fish or it is lungs in human beings, if they are respiratory organs, they need to have some common features. The surface area of exchange is usually very thin and membranous. It is also very large in its surface area. For example, the alveoli are highly convoluted in shape in case of human lungs. Also remember, the surface of the membrane is fine and delicate so that easy exchange of gases can take place. The surface area is also kept moist. And in case of animals, it is richly supplied with blood capillaries. In plants, exchange of gases occur through stomata, and the large intercellular spaces ensure that all the cells are in direct contact with air. So for breathing, there are no complicated organs in plants as such. Exchange of gases takes place across the surface areas. But what is it that decides which gas has to move in which direction? Who decides which gas is supposed to move in and which gas is supposed to move out? Ever observed that we always take in oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. And plants take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen during the daytime. But at night, they take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. The answer is very simple. The gases move because of a very plain and simple phenomena called diffusion. And diffusion is dependent upon the partial pressure of gases. Now, what do you mean by partial pressure? Air is a mixture of gases, and each gas exerts individual pressure, which is called as partial pressure. Let me give you an example and explain. Say, for example, the outside partial pressure of carbon dioxide is around 40 mmHg, and inside the plant's body, since it is utilizing that carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide inside the plant's body is less, say around 30 mmHg. So obviously, the outside partial pressure of carbon dioxide being more, carbon dioxide will enter inside the plant body. In plants, the direction of diffusion of gases is partially dependent upon the environmental conditions and also the requirement of the plant. Like, for example, during the daytime, when carbon dioxide is being utilized for photosynthesis, oxygen exchange is an important activity going on during the daytime. Whereas at night, when photosynthesis has got reduced and is not taking place, carbon dioxide exchange is a major activity which is going on in a plant body. So children, remember, the next time your granny says, don't stand under a banyan tree at night, it has ghosts and you may be possessed by one, try and understand it scientifically. Actually, the tree is giving out more amount of carbon dioxide at night and it is using up more amount of oxygen. So let us now take a deep breath and put a full stop to our discussion. We're going to come back with more on human breathing and respiration in our next part. Till then, goodbye.